Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Kiana McClure. I currently serve on the Rutland City Board of Aldermen, and I am also the co-chair of Project Vision here with Adam Sansick. And I promise that I don't always sound like this. I'm overcoming a sinus infection. I'm not contagious, just uncomfortable. So I wanted to give everybody that peace of mind before we got started. Looking around, I see a lot of new faces here today, which is very, very exciting. And we're going to actually start off with introductions of new visitors. So if you are new or if you brought someone with you who is new, please stand up to be recognized and a microphone will come to you. I will embarrass you and I'm going to stare you down until you stand up so you people know who you are. So new people stand. Awesome. I need to use this system more often. Perfect. And the microphone will be circulating. I think we're probably going to start over here. Microphone man is in control of who goes when.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm the Health Center Manager of Planned Parenthood.
Awesome. Thank you for being here today, Michelle.
My name is Emily. I am one of the program directors for the Rutland Rec Department.
Thank you for joining us.
My name is Joe Bonacera, and I am another program director for the rec departments.
Awesome. Thank you guys for being here.
Hi, I'm Nestor Soto. I'm the pastor at Alliance Community Fellowship.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm Riley and I intern at Brock.
Woohoo. Thank you.
I'm Hennessy and I also intern at Brock.
Love it. Thank you guys for being here today.
Sorry for your finger.
And then we're going to come around the front to this side over here.
Hi, I'm Pamela Jean. I'm an intern at Rutland Mental Health Community Care.
My name is Heather Paradise. I'm a care coordinator at Rutland Mental Health.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Hi, I'm Lori Sheridan. I am the Reach Up Supervisor for the Rutland District.
Awesome. And I think that is everybody who is new. So thank you guys so much for being brave and standing up. And I am going to use that method for next month. So thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and move right along into Chief Kilcullen's remarks as the mayor cannot be here with us today.
Thanks, Kiana. So for those of you who come to our RETSTAT meetings every other Tuesday or so, you've heard a number of these things before, but for those who don't come to our RETSTAT meetings, just want to go through a couple of things that we do talk about at our RETSTAT meetings. So for those who don't know, our RETSTAT meetings, as I said, meet every 2 weeks at the station. We met this Tuesday, so we'll meet again in 2 weeks. And we go through sort of what's been keeping us busy, right? We highlight locations we've been to at least 3 times in a 2-week period. We kind of try to identify the issues that are bringing us to those addresses and try to leverage resources in the room, because a lot of our partners are there, to bring some stability to that particular address, to those individuals that are struggling with some sort of issues. So very recently, our 3-peat locations in terms of our numbers have been down somewhat. In terms of the number of incidents we're responding to so far year to date, I think it was we're down 23% in terms of incidents that we've been involved in over the course of so far this year. So that's down quite a bit. So that allows us to do some other things. So our proactive police work will start to pick up. One of those things will be our traffic enforcement. So slow down out there, because we'll be a little more aggressive and we'll be out there a little bit more. So we're getting, again, our call volume's been down somewhat, and this is really, it's cyclical. So we this time of year we tend to be down a little bit, but even year over year we're down 23% versus the previous year. So even though this is a slower time, we're still down quite a bit compared to last year at the same time. So as I said, so we'll be able to do some more things going forward. And the other thing that'll allow us to be a little more proactive going forward is our personnel. So as I think you probably heard by now, we've hired 3 individuals recently, all from Brandon. All trained level 3 officers. So, when we hire a trained officer, they're up and running fairly quickly. If we hire someone with no prior police experience, we've got to send them to the academy for roughly 5 months, start their field training. So it's a good 10 to 12 months before someone becomes a full service officer. But hiring those with experience that are already certified allows us to sort of, get up and running real quickly. So we're happy. The motoring public might not be, but we are. So just be careful out there. And, again, RETSTAT every 2 weeks. Come out sometime if you've got time. 8 o'clock every 2 weeks, police station, Tuesday morning. So anyway, that's all I've got for now. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Chief. Now we're going to invite Commander Prouty up for the Vision Center update.
So I didn't get a chance to monitor traffic like I did last month. Yeah, Chief, you know what I'm talking about. And I was hoping to at least get like a stop on the chief and we'd have it on camera and we could do a little video, but you know, it just didn't work out. So stay tuned for the near future. I'll try to do that. You remember last month I talked about our outreach care team, specifically Community Care Network, the outreach of the SUD person, Bailey Wright, and also Angela French, that have been, as their supervisor said, basically living as if they were unhoused Monday through Friday with the population and doing a fantastic job. Well, I've invited them here today along with other members of the outreach care team, just because I want to, just like we've given you guys access to the community resource specialist, conversations that we've been having lately have just been pretty inspirational, you know, from my perspective of, you know, what we've done, where we've been, you know, what it looked like in the beginning to what it is now. I have Candy and Dave over here. I'm going to give you guys some access to them today just to say, hey, what's it like out there? You know, what are you seeing? And any questions that you may have for them. Did anyone see the Vermont Digger article on Community Care Network's outreach piece? Yeah, that was pretty good. If you did get a chance, look that up. Well written. I think there should have been a little bit more on the interview piece, especially from Angela. We want to hear from you, not necessarily all your bosses. So, hey, Peg TV, if you didn't hear that, she said she agreed. So make sure that's written down in the minutes. Let's see. So we lost our vehicle. I know I've been a broken record on that. It ran its life's course. We're working on getting a new vehicle for the team. I'm working with our staff operations person to order a vehicle, and we'll try to build it to suit for multiple parts of the department, both for us in whether it's a weather event, tactical situation, but also to accommodate that outreach care team. Stay tuned for that. That's actually moving on pretty good. Next week, situation table, Tuesday and Wednesday. For those of you that are signed up, I'm really excited about that. I just sent a pretty good chunk of change to the vendor for food, so I hope you better eat the lunch that's provided, or I'm going to be offended. And the Community Policing Subcommittee, we do meet at the police station. Stay tuned. That group, as you may or may not know from me standing up here spouting off about it, but I bounce a lot of stuff off of them. And one of the things that I recently put on them was to sort of, we take a step back and we look at those 4 pillars that when I came back to Vision that I kind of wanted us to, when thinking about what we're doing, you know, prevention, intervention, the enforcement piece, and that supervision and support, those 4 pillars. Where do we fall in that, both as individuals and organizations? And what we're hoping to do in the near future is basically, with the guidance and the help of that committee, have a guided conversation right here in this room with all of you. Say, hey, where do we fit? And are there things that we haven't considered? Things like that. So stay tuned. Good things to come.
Thank you, Commander Prouty. Next, we are going to move into announcements. Does anybody have any announcements? Because if not, I have one that I will give. I see hands. Let me give mine first. It'll be all of 30 seconds. I see a lot of young people in the room here, which is amazing. And I would like to remind all of you that the Rutland Young Professionals Gala is going to be April 4th. That is for individuals age 18 to 45 in Rutland County. If you live, work, play in Rutland County, you are eligible and able to go. And I would love to see all of this next generation of service providers and community mover and shakers there. It's a black tie formal gala, and it's a lot of fun. If anyone has any questions, come find me later. And I saw hands for other announcements. And I have a microphone over on this side, so we'll start this way and move this way.
Hi, I'm Diane from the ARC, Rutland area, and we have our self-advocates are going to presenting their presentations to our legislators on the 20th of March. And we also have our Spring Fling dance this Sunday the 23rd. So on the 20th for the legislature, 23rd for our dance, and y'all are welcome if you want to see what we do out there. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Jamie Bentley. I'm making an announcement for Sarah Stearns, who couldn't be here today. She wanted me to let you all know that the Vermont Prevention Lead organization for Region 2 is opening up their funding opportunities for substance use prevention grants. So if you are interested in that funding, please check out the website, which is vplo2.org.
Hi, Renee Beaupre White with the Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging. March is National Nutrition Month, and if anyone's interested in volunteering, you can do that at TRIO, East Creek Catering. We'd welcome volunteers, and also we're planning our Community Health Day, which will be held in Pittsford on September 18th, so if there's any agencies that would like to be represented, we'd love to have you. And I'd also like to just congratulate our Adam Sansick again for being our Community Partner of the Year.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Renee. Do we have any other announcements? I see some hands in the back over here. Our microphone guy is getting his steps in today.
Hi, my name is Morgan. I work at the Westridge Center, and we just wanted to tell everybody that we're starting on Monday, this Monday, March 17th, we're opening our open access. So anybody who wants to come in for treatment for opioid use disorder can come in and they can do the whole intake. It takes about 2 hours, Monday through Friday, 6 to 11. So they can get started the same day and come in and get dosed the same day.
Awesome, thank you. Any other hands? Looking around. I think we may be all set on the announcements then, but yell at me if I missed you, anybody. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move in to the Q&A session led by Commander Prouty for the Community Care Network Outreach Team. So I will let him take that right over.
Wasn't exactly sure how we were going to do this. So I don't know if it's better to break into groups, and of course I have my CRSs here as well, my resource specialists. We also have Tracy's here from the Turning Point. They are also a big part of the outreach care team. We have supervisors here from Community Care Network along with Angela. I've got Dave and Candy here, both from Vermont Health Partners. Candy's from the Medical Reserve Corps. And I just wanted to give you guys, I don't know if we want to bombard them all at once with questions. Yeah, yes we do. What do you think?
Sounds great. I mean, I think as far as the group goes, I think everybody hearing the questions.
Okay. So, but to start, I want to have Candy come up. And Candy has been, so the Medical Reserve Corps, they have this list for nurses, doctors, EMTs, whatever. They get to volunteer to be on the outreach care team, except for the fact that Candy doesn't let anyone else do it. She has decided that unless she is incapacitated in prison or in the hospital, or I think that a couple of other things she said, that she's going with the team. So, and she's been amazing. But Candy, the other day you came up to the Vision Center. Oh, by the way, they're in the Vision Center now. She has her first office. She was so excited. I have my own office. It's just a cubicle, but she was excited, so I'm like, yeah, it's a big deal. And I asked them to decorate. They haven't done that yet. A little disappointed. Get on that. But she gave a story about, we've been doing this for over a year, and it's hard to break down, some of the barriers to folks, especially when you talk about personal things like you have wounds or whatever. But now, these last few months, people have been really reaching out to them. And you told a story about someone that ended up getting some treatment. Can you just speak to that a little bit, please?
Good afternoon, everybody. We've had numerous success stories. They start with very small interactions, and sometimes they ask for help, but then they walk away. And then others still have to try 2 or 3 times. They're gathering up their own courage in order to seek help. But we've had individuals who received help from myself in terms of a medical need, but then we would help them down the line to see Bailey for any social needs, and Angela, anything related to mental health, Dave and Alex, if they're looking for a chance for recovery. And we've now had individuals who have gone through the whole system and are now housed, have a doctor, have gotten to a dentist, and have gotten into a recovery program, and then return to tell us, that things are so much better now. We had one individual yesterday who had received all those services over the course of this past year and is so thrilled that they are now in their very own apartment with a job. So these are the kinds of things that we're striving for to reach out to our unhoused individuals. What we are seeing most of all are dental injuries and dental disease. And the next would be wounds due to substance abuse. And many of these wounds are very deep, infected, and they're very large by the time they seek some help. Lung issues in our older clients, it's not disease related like flu or COVID. These are emphysema, COPD, and lung bronchitis, for which in many cases, they haven't been receiving medical services. And we also need a better system for getting our clients appointments with Rutland Health Partners, a primary care physician, and definitely a dentist. As we look forward to warmer weather, for those who are unhoused, mosquitoes, tick-borne diseases, skin disorders, and infections are what we're gearing up for, and trying to have donations of supplies in order to assist individuals. Do you have any questions for me in terms of working with people in the community? Oh, come on.
Actually, I have one. So you had mentioned that I was hoping you could speak a little bit more to maybe some of the barriers with regards to communicating with service providers and where you see kind of the hiccup or where the challenges are around that, especially around dental, and I'm just wondering, like, utilizing the clinic and things of that nature. If you can speak to that a little bit more.
Yes, at this time, it's communicating between, so we write up reports for each client we see, and then we make a referral, that's part of the form, and that's where the line is broken. So, and then we deliver the form to Rutland Health Partners, and then the next part is where things fall apart. And we have to get the client an appointment or find a primary care provider, and then we have to either provide transportation or waive for transportation or even give a ride to that provider. And I think a lot more people could be seen and their issues could be solved if we could get the two sides, the medical side and the client, together more often. Yes?
Wait for a microphone.
We do ask that folks wait for a microphone to speak, so that way PEG TV can record your comments.
Thanks so much for that. I'm wondering, is the breakdown of communication because primary care or mental health or where have you do not have openings?
Yes, that's some of it. Definitely, right now, the Rutland Health Partners are in flux, and they actually have some very exciting things for the future. The mobile care, as soon as it receives a tax deference, will be going out on the road. I think that's going to help a great deal. And then the next is, within another organization, there might be individuals who can, what's the right word? Can help with the referrals itself. Yes?
You basically answered my question, but it really was, do you think the mobile health van will increase the access to care for these folks? So
Yes.
that it can just go
Absolutely.
to the space where people are and provide care right there, and
For
there
all the
won't have
people
to.
who have worked on that project, it is an amazing vehicle. It has everything inside for nurses, physicians, to see patients and care for their needs. So I'm very excited that this will be coming online, I hope really soon.
Great. And I guess the other question about the dental issues, are you seeing, is it, because I know that TIA has, or that the health partners have dentists online, is it hard to get folks there to see the dentist, or is
The
there?
bus stop is right nearby.
Okay.
So they can take the bus, but we have individuals who are no longer permitted on the bus.
So it's a transportation issue.
So we need either transport
Gotcha.
volunteers or some means to get them to that location.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Yes?
I was just curious if you have any connection with Vermont Chronic Care Initiative? Because that sounds like a lot of what the services that they provide that we refer our folks to, who don't have medical homes or dental homes or just need some extra care in moving forward with whatever situation they have.
You want to take that out?
Sure. So there is, pardon me, there is a process as far as Vermont Chronic Care Initiative is concerned around referrals. They are Medicaid only, so it would be probably appropriate if it's somebody who doesn't have an identified provider and they're not on Medicaid. Happy to make that connection. We actually have some represented here today. Nice to see you. So I think making a soft connection with them and getting a better understanding of their services and who they serve within the community will be a good answer to that.
And the second question I have is, do you have a process to connect people with Medicaid to do the application process and help them submit all of that paperwork?
That's not part of my function, but I know that Bailey, is Bailey here? No. Oh, there you are. Yes. So I believe that's part of Bailey's role, is to assist with documentation, identification, filling out paperwork, getting people to Brock. That's all within her purview, as well as Angela also does many of the same function for people that are part of Rutland Mental Health. Thank you.
The Vermont Health Partners, the Vermont Free Clinic will also does that. So when they come in and we're making the appointment for like the emergency dental, which is a big part of what they do, but sometimes, I think right now our last challenge was we needed to get like Oragel and things like that we had run out of just to get people by until we could get them into the appointment. But their staff do help with all of that paperwork, and they help people navigate the Health Connect and all of that. So, great question. So I want to be clear, we're going to have 2 vans. Okay, we got my cool van, right, for cruising, Well, when I have it, it's going to be cool. And then we got Dave's van that only he's allowed to drive with all the cool medical stuff, which I think is going to be awesome. But Angela's here. So Angela, you should come up, please. And I want really hard questions, people. The challenge has been put out there.
Hello. So I'm Angela, and I'm do street outreach. I started about a year and a half ago, and when I started with Commander Prouty, Candy, Dave, Tracy, Alex came later. We were a team, and we had our own vehicle, and that's how it initially started, and I didn't know anybody at all. So it took about 3 months or something to start to have people trust me, and now I walk into the Methodist Church because that's where I meet most people. It's a good place to find people that I haven't worked with yet or whatever, but I'm recommended by everybody else that is there. So I have quite a following. And I do the mental health side. My coworker Bailey does the SUD side, but we do everything together. So that could be, if they need help a lot of the time, calling economic services for a motel or help getting to a dentist or a doctor, because what we've noticed is if you don't do it immediately, like right then they, even if their teeth are like so inflamed, they won't go. So we try to get them into places like immediately because that will help. We do residential stuff. I mean, work with Adam sometimes on stuff. Anything you can think that somebody might need assistance with is what somehow we figure out. It's about like who you know and what you know. Any questions?
Come on, people.
The mic guy has a question. From what I understand, the Methodist Church has showers. No, they don't?
No, they provide a place to be, 6:30 to 2:30. They are doing well with getting people in now. Like HPC has Chastity that goes in. There's myself. They do have a vaccine clinic. There's a few other, I can't remember. There's a few other people that are now coming. Like I was the first initial, and she saw how good it was doing by meeting people and being able to help. So they're there 6:30 to 2:30, and they provide breakfast and lunch and basically a place in the winter to hang out in the summer. But it is a really good place if you want.
That's the one by
help.
Gills?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to know, instead of having to call it Matt or somebody else, what the city, one of the city facilities.
I call it the church because everybody I work with on the street knows. Yeah, but
Right.
if I'm talking to others, it's the Methodist Church on 60 Strong's Ave.
Are there other facilities around the city that are somewhat like that, where they go for meals, they go for a break from extreme cold weather, other than the housing, et cetera?
I mean, there's like food shelves and stuff, but as far as no, I would love that. That's what we really need, and more overnight beds and such like that. But so they're mainly the 6:30. The Mission does breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you can't go sit. So a lot of the times, if they need to charge their phone on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, their church isn't open. So I try to come up with ideas. There's not much for people, but I'll say go to the library. And I was a librarian before this, so I know that it's okay to sit there as long as you're not.
It's one of those thoughts when it's bitter cold.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really tough to see that. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question
Of
around
course.
connection?
Yeah.
So can you give me a better understanding, because I think one of the unique pieces to this puzzle for you and the work that you do is that you meet people where they're at. And
Yeah, that's the motto, like
Yeah.
meet people where they're at. Yep.
How do you feel about connections to the community once somebody's identifies a need or a barrier, and how that translates for you?
Yeah, so I do find they'll have a roadblock, and usually if I or Bailey can be with them for whatever the roadblock is, I don't know if it's just because I'm a community health worker, I don't know what it is, but I can get further for them and go around whatever it is. And I also know people that might be able to assist whatever their blockage is, but that is huge. Because unfortunately, that does seem, if they're trying, they might not get as far as if I do. But that's what I'm here for. So. Yes?
Okay, I got the mic.
Yeah.
I have a question. Often when we start a new role or a new job, we have certain expectations, and then we're in it, and we find out, wow, this is different, or some aspect is different. I wasn't expecting that. Did you have an experience like that? What is there in the role that maybe you
So
were
when I
surprised
started,
by?
it was a new position. So I kind of, if it wasn't for him, I would not have probably met anybody. But I wasn't sure what I was walking into, and then I feel like it just grew from there. So it started with limited people that would talk to me, basically because they trusted him, and like until I built that trust. But now it is so much. It's not like one thing we do. Every day is different. That's why I love it. It's like sort of controlled chaos. So it's hard to say. I mean, I'll do anything to a point that I can help people with, you know. So it is. It's definitely different than when it started, because it was very slow for 3 months or something? Yeah, and then it just picked up. And now I go on the street and everybody knows me basically. It's kind of funny. Anywhere I go, I'll see people that I've met from work.
Excuse me.
I'm going to circle back a little bit to Adam's question. You mentioned that people will come up to roadblocks and you can get further than them. What are those roadblocks? Like, are they about that the service agency isn't responding to the person? Does the person feel like there's a stigma or a roadblock for them that makes them uncomfortable to move forward, or
A lot of the time it
both?
is that, like the people know me. I helped somebody today that just gets so frustrated on hold on economic services. So I'll sit there. He was like, can you call? I'm like, no, but we can. So, you know, I put it on speaker, and then he can't hear or whatever happens, and he'll start to get frustrated. So I'll say, hi, I'm here, and I'm I'm a lot of people's authorized rep to help call. Yeah, I mean, literally a lot. Just in case, like if they don't have a phone unless they have Wi-Fi mostly, or they're stolen or whatever. So I usually will have a plan, like, okay, I can do this, but you're gonna have to meet me, because if I get you to the motel and you don't show up, like that type of thing. So there's that, no phone. They might not get through, they can't sit. I've had luck with going to an appointment at Economic Services a few times, and they were unable to get stuff until I was like, they're working with me, and it helped. But it's happened numerous times. I can't think right now exactly what, yeah.
So it does sound like it's sort of both, right? There's a hesitancy on some of the folks
Yeah.
who you're helping, but there's also some
Yeah.
maybe unnecessary barriers from service agencies where it feels like it's difficult to get those services because of stigma or
Yeah.
frustrations on either side, perhaps.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I just think it's always nice to have like a middle person
Absolutely.
that can help with both, especially if I know, because I know a lot of people in different agencies now, so
Yeah.
I can call, you know, I have their
Yep.
number and I'll say, hey, can you help me? What would be the best way to do this? So that's
Yes.
helpful too.
It's sort of like that no wrong door
Yeah.
framework where,
Yeah.
people can come to you and there's,
Oh, yes.
all the different doors.
Right, that's a good way to put it, yes.
Just a minute, there's a woman over here, just waiting.
I just have a question for the group. How many persons are you currently seeing? And of those, have you ever seen a transition or had a success story where you've been able to move somebody off the street in more of a permanent situation?
I would be more the one that follows people through. We have done it together, but only because I continue each step. And then I do step out sometimes when I'm like, oh, they're doing well, but they'll come back if needed. I have many people that have gone from homeless and either they've left this county and gotten settled, but I have people that have a permit. I just had somebody come up, that was struggling on the street the whole time I knew them. I would get some help. They were, going through services, and then they'd go back on the street, and it just all winter, like both winters. We now have this one person is getting an apartment. I know. And has been clean for 5 months, which is amazing. Yeah. That was today's thing, but I have other people. My first person, this isn't a thing either, but I made a certificate of graduation from Street Outreach because it was my first person I had worked with that was living amputee on the street in the winter and didn't want to work with anybody, and I finally chipped down till the person did, and then they've been in an apartment and sustained for probably 9 months. But there's many more. Next time I will come with examples for you. Help, what, how many? 190 for Bailey and I. Yeah, way more. Yeah, so it's quite a caseload. But it's not, we don't see them like every day, you know. We have people we see every day, but then there's others that I won't see for like 6 weeks and then they'll come back when they need something. But it's always different, so it fluctuates. Like today I helped 12, but some of it's like not huge things. One was stay on the phone an hour with Economic Services and got their room again. But yeah, so it depends. I got somebody else an authorized rep form. So I'm going to bring that and have them sign it because they can't call tomorrow. Every day is different, and I do love that.
Okay. Well, just try and go.
Sorry. So full disclosure, Reach Up is part of Economic Services. And so one of the questions that I had, I just wanted to back up a little bit, because many of the folks that we serve are very common, have the common situations. But the question is, when you say you find barriers, is that in the office or on the phone with hotels? I was just curious if you could give me a couple examples.
So the phone thing is a lot of people they don't have the patience because they're like living in a tent, but they will sit with me.
Right.
They sometimes ask me to call and I won't. I'm like, nope, you can do it with me. I have probably 5 individuals, men, that just can't do it. So if I'm sitting there and I'm like, fine, go smoke, come back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That type of thing, that's a barrier. There was a few things, they didn't know how to answer the questions. This is what I was talking about in the appointment that I went to when they were trying to get, it was before the voucher thing. It was, I can't remember if it was like food stamps and stuff like that, but they didn't have the questions to answer, so I sat with them and, you know, said I work with them, and they were comfortable saying I worked at Rutland Mental Health. And so that happened a few times just because they have been homeless so long, they don't really have the answers that they need. So that's a lot of it.
Gotcha.
So,
that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you made it clear, but I wanted to emphasize that what I hear you saying is you're modeling good behavior, ways that we all get frustrated with dealing with agencies, ways to handle that frustration, and that's got to be so important as well. So good job.
That's my mental health background.
Yeah, nice work.
Yeah. Thanks. Anybody else? All right. Thank you.
Well done. So for me, this has been an incredible process watching it, and it wouldn't be fair not to add in the CRSs from on the city side. Someone mentioned the shower and laundry. That's a program that we do on the city side, thanks to the generosity of the Housing Trust and Mary Cohen, where we meet with folks and we can take them to Lincoln Place, and we let them shower, do a couple loads. It's gotten to the point now where we actually, the CRSs have a schedule book near a phone because we have double booked, and it's a problem when people come in with 4 loads each and like, well, that's 8.5 hours. How are we going to do that? So little growing pains, but we also assist Bailey and Angela with helping people get rides to their medical appointments. And these are folks that if they don't make these appointments, it's in our interest, we'll put it that way, that they make it to these appointments. So we try to support them in any way we can. They do walk a lot, so when it's cold out, I'll send the CRS and say, hey, go give Angela a ride. Because, so Danielle, they need that car. They need that car. But this has been an awesome experience, and from my perspective, some of the barriers, we talked about them a little bit, but on primary care, when you mail a letter to a homeless person saying if you don't communicate with us by a certain time, you're cut off, well, they didn't get the letter. And when you're on your 4th phone this year, it's not the same phone number. So we've been doing a lot with some of our medical partners, like, hey, listen, before you cut somebody off, give me a call. Let me go find them. Let's not cut people off from their primary care right away, because we have the ability. We're out on the street. We know where a lot of people are. One of my frustrations, sorry, Adam, not having real people to talk to at Economic Services on the housing piece. The phone is a barrier. And to go into the Asa Bloomer building and go to Economic Services and be handed a 77558, whatever the number is, and they come to me with this, I have like 6 of them, I've collected them. It's not good service, and I know that's not going to change anytime soon, and that's not nobody's fault here, but that's a real barrier. So, Pat?
Yeah, just to add one more thing, you talked about mail delivery and phone and all. That's one of the things that happens at the church, at Companions, that people have their mail delivered there so they can get notices. And also sometimes they're coming and using the phone, and that's how they're in touch not only with service providers, but sometimes family, just to reach out, because the phone is a big issue, a big barrier. Thanks.
All right, well, this has been fantastic, and I just really wanted to highlight their work. That 80-20 rule, this 20% of the population is using 80% of the services, and when we spend our time there meaningfully, it is going to have an impact. I just can't tell you enough over the last, almost 2 years, a year and a half anyway, of watching this process and watching people engage with them from where we started. It's just been awesome. And I'm even willing to go out a little bit on a limb here and say, hey, Chief, I said some of that 23% reduction has to do with this type of work. So, obviously not the stat guy, but back to you, Kiana.
Thank you to Matt. Thank you to the Community Care Network outreach team. Thank you to the CRSs. Thank you to everybody for being here. Usually we would go and do the committee report outs at this point, but we actually have a couple committees missing today, and because we took a lot of time hearing these amazing statements, we're going to skip that section. And what we're going to do now, it is, what time is it here? It is 12:43, so pizza? All right, guys, well then we're going to break for the networking, but before we do, I want to make sure I give my monthly shout out to Domino's Pizza for donating the pizza that is out in the lobby today, and a special shout out to Kirsty, the store partner who has helped us with this, because I emailed her at 9:45 last night, and she answered, and I am so, so grateful for her. There was a little bit of a communication breakdown, and she took time out of her evening to make sure she emailed me back to make sure we knew that we had pizza. And I see a hand in the background over here. Question? Wait for a microphone, please.
Makes me want to go to karaoke. I'm Joanne from Rutland Regional. I help out the Vermont Food Bank. I just want to say on the first Friday of every month, if you go down to the transit, if you have ways to get to the transit, the bus will leave at 9:15 with people. We had 9 people this past Friday. We bring them to the mall. They grab their fresh produce. And even the bus driver was so amazing, even brought one person back to work so she would not be late. So the first Friday of every month, please, transit station, grab the bus at 9:15. Come get free produce, and sorry I forgot to announce that earlier. Thank you.
No worries, thank you. Well, all right, guys, thank you for that. We're going to do that after pizza, because we're going to come back together after we have pizza, because we still have another 30 minutes, 45 minutes left? Or do we want to do positive and uplifting story now? I'm looking at the boss man to tell me what to do. All right, well, I guess we're going to do the positive and uplifting story now then. So if you would like to provide a positive and uplifting story, please stand, raise your hand so the microphone knows to come to you so you can be heard for PEG TV. I'm looking at the person who asked for a positive and uplifting story. You do not, you don't have one to share? Okay. Does anybody have a positive and uplifting story to share? Does anyone need to mull it over pizza and then come back to it? All right, well, I guess, do any of our community response teams, any of our CRS, anybody have a positive uplifting story? I'm making weird eye contact with you, Sequoia. Do you have anything? I guess not. Oh, I have one in the background right there with the red coat. Thank you, because I was going to just start calling on people.
It's like 70 people mad at me, they're not getting their pizza yet. Hey, my name's Phil from the Community College of Vermont. This is my positive story. I've been teaching a ethics class down in the Springfield Correctional Facility this semester. Great bunch of guys. I've really enjoyed them a lot, but one of my students actually got put out on parole the other day, so he can't come to the class. But the next morning he came to a CCV and he asked if there was a way he could finish doing it. Anyway, I will just say sort of I don't know, we're working to see if there's a way that we can get him back into prison for class, but without without shoplifting or anything. Anyway, that's my positive, uplifting story, I guess. But.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's what I like to hear. And oh, we have another hand. Love it. See, I just need to withhold pizza from you guys, and then we get stories.
So my name is Bianca Zanella. I'm the paper poet, and I do Writers for Recovery workshops. You might have seen the email that came out yesterday for the spring series. But I also host a monthly open mic at Phoenix Books here in Rutland. And I just remembered I do have an uplifting story because at last Sunday's open mic, I had somebody who hadn't come to open mic in maybe 6 months and had shared that at the last open mic that they had come to, a poet was sharing poetry about their sobriety, and not 3 days after that open mic, those poems touched him so much that they decided they were going to change their life and get sober. And they have been sober for 6 months, and they came back to my open mic and shared this, and we applauded and congratulated, and it just really showed the power of poetry as part of the healing process. But it wasn't just that, right? It was a lot of the care of community as well for folks to hold this person and really enrich and uplift this person through the sobriety journey. And yeah, just that was really, everyone in the whole open mic, there were 9 of us, had goosebumps, and we're just really so proud of this person. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Bianca. That is amazing. Is anybody else? Oh, I see one more hand in the back. We're having these doorknob moments before the pizza.
Quickie. A lot of what we're hearing is how people involved in this work have been touched by it and changed by it. And I think it's important to recognize that. And for those of you who haven't had that driveway moment yet, open yourselves to it, because it's really reaffirming.
Awesome. Thank you. Another round of applause, guys, for all of these positive and uplifting stories. Thank you guys so much. I will release you all now out to the pizza. I have yet to organize it and make it look all pretty on the counter. There are 2 gluten-free options in the small boxes. I see my gluten-free person. I never forget you. Let me know if anybody needs anything at all, and if anyone has any questions about that RYP gala I mentioned, come find me.